Hey everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. How are you all today? Where I am, it's cold and rainy and it's starting to actually look like fall. The trees are beautiful now and are starting to get beautiful. There's still a lot of green out there, but anyway, it's great, and this is a perfect time to make this little video to give you some ideas and maybe also a slight word of caution. Okay, so what I mean by that is there's so many neat notebooks, there's so many fun things to do with them, and they certainly can help one organize their life. It has helped me in a lot of ways to have these different systems, but my word of caution is that sometimes I feel like you can get too much going and it can start to feel cumbersome. I'm always trying to simplify, and yet I like to try new things. So I can get into this thing where I'm trying to do so much with all these things, and then it gets to be where I feel scattered. So I will start with this, and the reason I'm hesitating is I forgot to bring a book out with me. I will pause this and grab that in just a second. But this is the Amazon inexpensive version of the Hobonichi Weeks. I bought the cover from Asian Gifts or something on Etsy, and I put a little leaf in there that my son made when he was a little boy. He's 13 now, but I had those laminated because they were so cute, and I put one back there too. Anyway, this is what I use just for like weekly to do stuff that's primarily me or my responsibilities. So I might not put that my older son is going to be doing this or that and the other unless it affects me. So when he went out of town, I wrote that on there. But he's a man. I mean, he has his own life. So I don't do everybody's stuff, but just kind of what I need to get done. So some chores were to clean the coat closet. For example, and like family activities or things that I need to do for somebody or take them somewhere. It's sort of my little thing that I look at every day and say, okay, what do I need to get done today? I've recently adopted this system, and I do like it. At first, when I saw this style and size of a planner, I was like, ew, I don't like that at all. It's way too long and narrow. It just looked really awkward and unusual to me. I, at that point, was liking more square. I thought I would try this, and that's why I bought the $11 Amazon version first. And I am really liking it because it's a real easy to go size. But I generally, like I said, I keep it near me, and I'm always referring to it. I don't take it with me currently because I have a different notebook for that, and that's part of the getting too scattered aspect. But for now, I'm liking this system. If you're not familiar with it, just a brief summary. It's got the months you fill out. They're all grouped together, and then you have places to do each week. So you label it or number it. And it starts with Monday. So that took me a little getting used to, just because the typical U.S. calendar or date book or whatever has it starting with Sunday. But once you get that down, that's okay. And then, so this is the daily have to, don't forget things, and this is kind of projects for the week. And then I started a little tracker thing. Again, that was something I thought, really, people are tracking their water or their exercise, or I just thought that's really tedious, and why on earth would you want to keep a record of that? But what it's done for me is to help me keep track of things that I want to do. So I can look at a week and say, okay, I did pretty good. I exercised 4 times. It's just to see where my weak areas are, and just to remind me to do those things that are important for feeling good, my health. One is to work on my abs. As you can see, absolutely no check marks there. Definitely a struggle. Okay, so, but that does remind me, maybe just think about it. Okay, so this is my daily, like, personal planner, but it also includes what other people are doing as far as it affects me. Because, you know, I'm the mom and I have to kind of keep track of all that. This is a Moleskine Expanded, and I started this, let's see, in July, I think it was, or was it August? Anyway, this year, 2019, July. And I saw lots of people using this on YouTube, and I was really drawn to the size. It's not too bulky. It's not a big full-size pad. It's got the closure. I liked that. I thought it might be fun to decorate. I had a little sealing wax thing there, but that just won't stay on even with glue. But I have a sticker, and that stayed on well. So this is my, what I call, creative journal, and I just use it to practice. I like to do lettering. Ever since I was a little girl, I like to do lettering, and I've liked quotes. So I'll put stuff in there like that. And then I was recently watching Little Raven Inc., and she challenged the viewers to do something creative, get outside the mold. So I was trying to do these funny little monsters, just something weird and out there that is fun and no expectations. But this is kind of an odd mix. I kind of liked how that turned out. That was fun. Lettering, quotes that are really meaningful to me, that I've come across in the different books I'm reading or I see on YouTube or Pinterest or Instagram. And then I've been journaling a lot this year. I have mentioned briefly my best friend passed away last summer, and so this has been a good place to just like really work through those thoughts as well as recording memories. So I did these hearts, and I put a memory that we shared together or something about her that I remembered, just to keep it down. And it's funny when you start to try to remember something, how many more memories pop up, things I hadn't thought about in years. So I've been doing that. I've been writing down some of my favorite kind of craft things as I try to narrow down what I really like to use. I tend to accumulate supplies and then find I have a few favorites. So I'm trying to streamline what I really enjoy using, and in my ideal world, I'd be able to like put in a little pouch or something, everything I want to use all the time. So it's really more portable, more easy to go with it if I wanted to go somewhere and journal or meet up with a friend or something. I don't really do a lot of that, so it's not too big of a deal. But that is my goal, to just simplify, find what I like, and move on. I've liked cutting out nature pictures. Anyway, so this is a little picture from Canon Ivy. I wrote about my aunts. I thought my kids, when I'm older or when I'm gone, they may come across old family pictures and wonder who people are. And I wanted to kind of commemorate some of the people that were special in my childhood. So I wrote a little bit about all the aunts on my mom's side. And here I'm playing around with watercolor, which I know nothing about. Obviously, I would do it way too thick, but I've had fun playing with it. Blah, blah, blah. So creative journal, thoughts, quotes, just any random thing that I want to do. And it's kind of fun. It has a scrapbooky feel. My problem can be overthinking it. Okay, what goes in there? What doesn't go in there? I kind of am just using it for a creative process and just an outlet. And hang on, I'm going to pause this and go get that other notebook. I'll be right back. Alrighty, here I am. So along with the Moleskine Expanded that I just showed you is this A6 size. Again, something I saw people using on YouTube. I liked how it looked. I like this size. You know, you can see it would fit easily in your hand, but I have kind of determined I like something with a little more length to it. Obviously, there's quite a big difference. This is nice, though, for what I am doing in it. This is a little bit too small for the same kinds of things. And I thought maybe I'd like to get a notebook cover for this. So before I did that, I bought this, maybe $6 on Amazon. It's got that MD Traveler's paper. And I just wanted to try out the size before buying a notebook. So I got this. So I have another thing. And now I'm like, how do I use up this thing? So what I have been doing is again, a creative outlet, but it's a smaller space. So if I don't feel like doing a lot, it's no big deal. I don't have all this blank page left. I'm trying to get the feel for watercolor. And if you have tips, let me know. I really, like I said, I know very little about it. I had a friend show me once. It's an art teacher, but I need some more lessons from her. But I'm trying to get more of a watery look, and I tend to get too much color. But it's fun to play. It just is kind of therapeutic just to get out there and try different colors and so forth. So what I have sort of started doing with this is just putting color down on the pages as I feel like it. And then I'll go back and I'll practice some kind of lettering that I've been liking or seeing and trying to get a feel for it. So this one I think turned out pretty well. It's not centered, but I like, you know, for a beginning, I think the lettering turned out pretty well. So it has a fun background. And I just use the Faber-Castell or whatever brush pens to do the lettering. And then here's a C.S. Lewis quote. In there I did kind of a splotchy thing. Here's an alphabet. And then sometimes I'll put names of like favorite book characters like Darcy and Elizabeth, just for something to write, to practice. My 13-year-old son was playing around with those Neocolor, sorry. There, he did a pumpkin. And then I did a couple things. That's a very strange looking leaf, but that was my attempt. I like the acorn okay. Anyway, and then I had started writing little letters. I was going to do this as a letter book to my 4 grandkids, and then I thought, well, that's going to be clunky because 3 of them are siblings and 1 of them is a cousin, and who knows if they'll ever see it. So that idea went by the wayside, and I'm going to incorporate that in, surprise, a new book that I'll be starting. Okay, moving along. Not to make this too long, sorry. This is my Start Bay notebook. I've shown it before. Helen Colebrook from Journal with Purpose first showed this, and I love England, Anglophile type thing, and it was from, I think they said East Devon, and I thought, ooh, it'd be really fun to have a traveler's notebook from the UK, because I had a friend who lived there for a while, and I got to visit her, and I really liked the country. And so I ordered this, and I'm not disappointed in this at all. I really liked it. It's a different look. It's much more structured than a couple of my other notebooks, but I really am liking that. And it comfortably holds a couple inserts, and that's all I want. I'm kind of past wanting the mega bulky planner. So to me, excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of my tea here because my throat is bothering me. Hang on. I have hazelnut cookie tea, and it's pretty good. So I have shown this before, so I won't elaborate on it, but I have 2 planners in here. Well, I actually have 3, but this one is super thin, and this is just sort of an idea planner on how I'm planning on using my different notebooks, so I can keep my thoughts kind of directed and I don't get scatterbrained about it. Oops, what do I have going here? I have a paper clip on the cover. Okay, this is my current one for October. I labeled it 2. I really like these stencils. I've seen a lot of YouTubers use those. I don't claim that this is all original, but I've incorporated some people's style with my own because I've always been a collager, but I liked a lot of the little techniques that I've been learning. Anyway, this was kind of the first one, maybe August and July, and then this one I've dedicated to October, and I've had a super fun time. I love this style that Helen inspired me to do. I'll put stickers, washi, basically a summary of the day just for the fun of it, because maybe someday when I'm gone, I'm older, I want to look back and reflect. My kids want to know, what was a day like when, you know, we were in our teens? What did mom do? Whatever. Just kind of a record of our life in very, very simple terms. And this was a fun thing. I put a watercolor paper on there. out of the new watercolor set that I was trying. That might be a way to use up some of your doodads that come with your packaging, or packaging that come with the things you order. Anyway, so basically daily journaling, and I use this place also to be creative. So like here I did washi, I did stamping, I tried some of the lettering that I've found on I guess probably Pinterest for that. It's a place to, again, be creative, but the main goal is to record the events, and I've kind of challenged myself to have something for every day this year, which started August 5th. So till next August, and then I'll evaluate and see if I want to keep going. But that's fun. I love doing this. Anyway, so this is used for daily journaling and a little bit of creative expression with that as I'm in the mood for it. And if I'm not, I'll just write the date and move on. Okay, I have shown this before. This is my Speckled Fawns Rustic Kodiak. And basically, I guess I'd call it my spiritual journey, but basically my walk with God. So I have prayer requests, gratitude items, kind of thoughts, some quotes. Maybe sometimes I'll just like emphasize a Bible verse that really stands out. So here, like I was focusing on a passage in Ephesians 1:15 through 23, and I just wrote a couple little, like I was taking notes on the verse. What does this verse say? It tells us this, that, and that. And then I just added a little bit of lettering. So this is not hugely creative or artsied up, just enough decoration so that it feels personal and it has some visual interest, which I like. So anyway, there's that. This is my church and Bible study notes. I bring this whole thing with me, and I'll just take that out and take notes. And then this idea again is just, if I'm reading something and I want to focus, zoom in on a little bit, I do this method: scripture, observation, application, and prayer. Got that from Sam Kelly. She's got a really fun YouTube channel. So, spiritual. So, this works well. It's on a card. I only take it somewhere once or twice a week, and it just kind of sits there. I use it almost every day. But you can see how having these things separate helps. Otherwise, I'd have this mega journal, and I don't want. That's what I used to do with this. I had like 10 inserts in there. Sorry, you can't even see that. And if I had all these together, that would be too much. This is a good system for me because it breaks up the different functions, but kind of breaks it up in a way that my mind works, I guess, the way I look for stuff or how I think about it. And then these are just more artistic, and this is like my main planner. I do have one out on my kitchen counter, which we call the office. It's just where it's like ground control or something like that, or headquarters. It's like where we all look at the calendar and write stuff down and check the dates. And I don't use this there. I have just a spiral bound book there, and we just scribble on that or the calendar. And that works. It's more of a kind of a task list or something, where this is becoming more of my planning book. And then my husband went to Guatemala a few years ago on a short-term missions trip, and he brought back, this has got a lot of glare, let me get that off screen. He brought back this like folio thing for me. I used up the notepad that was in there, but for now I am liking just using it to store all my word stickers and a couple of these rub-ons. I got these, I think, at the dollar store, and they're neat, but they really are difficult to work with because if you're trying to do one, a whole bunch of other things sticks to it as well. So, hang on, my hubby just got, okay, I'm back. Anyway, so I throw all this in here. This is a thing I got like at a dollar store too. It's very flexible. It works okay. I like the stiffer plastic, but that works all right. And I use that occasionally. And I love using these word stickers to just finish off a page and summarize a thought. When I first started getting into the traveler's notebooks, I decided to turn this folio into a string binder as well. I had these eyelets and I had the elastic on hand. And I've done that for a while. I was like super into everything with the traveler's notebook strand setup, which I still love. But it's not really working for me as a folio. I'm for a traveler's notebook thing now because I don't have anything really this size that I'm using. But it's handy to keep that contained so they're not all over my craft cart. And then last but not least, I briefly showed this recently, but this is becoming our household organizer. I have passwords in here. I have our giving plan. I have household repairs. And I added recently, I just took this out of the book so that all our contact information and business things were in one place. So I just inserted this business card thing in there. Obviously it's not the same size, but it works okay. So then if anybody in the house is needing information, they know to go to this book. Once my chartreuse, now my golden color thing as it's patinaed. Very soft, very nice. And then I just bought from Yellow Paper House a address book insert. So it'll be just like this book club one, but it'll have a place for addresses. So that's where I'll put all our family contacts. And let's see. Yep, that's pretty much it. That is what I use on a pretty regular basis. I keep all this organized. I have an IKEA craft cart and it's all in a basket, kind of like this, kind of per Marie Kondo, whatever that book is, where you file stuff, you know, like you can look at it like this versus a stack and then you're rummaging. I try to keep things placed like this so I can grab the book that I need or want, and it's handy. And I don't really know how to simplify this anymore. I mean, the only thing I could do is go down to using one of these all the time, which maybe, you know, someday I will do that. But for now, I'm using up these things and trying out these different things. And I think eventually I may end up being a little more streamlined again. I don't carry this all anywhere, so it's not so much of a nuisance. If I were, it would be a royal pain, and I'd probably look ridiculous lugging around 6 notebooks. But this works because it's all in the house, and really my only ever to-go things might be these. So there you go. Hope that was interesting, and I hope it also kind of just serves as a thing to consider if you're new into the traveler's notebook systems or the planner whole craze thing, which is really a lot of fun. But just think about what you would really like to use, what seems to fit your style. Just to say, I had mentioned this seemed a little too small, and this is great, but sometimes it even seems big. So I am going to try out the B6 Slim soon, just because I want to, and that may become the new size. But generally, I'll just take a little side rabbit trail here. I'm liking the little bit longer sized journals that are longer more than they are wide. And so one reason I wanted to try the B6 Slim is the inserts for the B6 Slim and the standard or narrow are very similar, but the B6 Slim is shorter than this. So if I can get this size insert, I can easily just cut it down to fit a B6 Slim. So I feel like those two are really compatible, and I could go back and forth with those. Whereas using something like this, I also have a pocket size and let's see, what's the other one? The pocket is the same as the field notes, and then I have the passport, and those I'm not really using. So I definitely think that what works for me is a little bit bigger, these sizes, but a more streamlined than this once was for me. This was really full, and I don't like that anymore. I'm liking this kind of spine more than the reinforced. Anyway, I'm babbling, and I've already talked about that. So think about what you're purchasing. If you want to try out a size, get something inexpensive, I would say, before investing in the notebook. A lot of people buy, sell, trade. I haven't been able to research that enough to maybe get a buyer for the ones I'm not using. But anyway, it's fun, and it's a fun hobby. You know, if it takes you a while to figure out what you like, that's not a crime. You know, sometimes it's the process of figuring out what works for you and what you like that is very meaningful and really helps clarify what you're all about in the planner or traveler's notebook world. So give yourself grace to be on a discovery. No judgment necessary, right? We can all be free to explore and try out new things. That's the fun, right? It's a hobby. It's a fun thing we enjoy doing, so enjoy it. But I would just say ponder it a little bit and don't fall into the worry of what if I miss out. Just think about it, take a breath, and then be willing to try things and be willing to say, this doesn't really work for me. And then find something to do for it in the meantime. And then you don't have to get it again. Okay, well that's my deal for the day, my thoughts. I hope you all are having a great day. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.